Hello and welcome to Morten's Corner. In this session, we'll talk about the UXP summarization feature. And in the scope of today, we'll go through what is the summarization feature. Then we'll talk a little bit about summarization in the objectives. We'll talk about summarization in the conclusion. And then we'll talk about summarization in sections. And then we'll go through summarization using the PowerPoint narration. And then we can talk a little bit about best practices and use. So, the summarization feature is available to those of you who has the UXP or the UAC feature enabled on your license and toggled on in your projects. In order to use the UXP or UAC feature, please check out this video from 0 to UXP. So, basically what it does is, let's go into one of my longer recordings here. So basically you're having the AI summarize parts or all or anything, basically any of your recording really. So in this recording, I could, for example, have an introduction piece up here, which tells me what is this whole 44-step instruction about, with all these many chapters that I have in it. So let's go ahead and just select everything, really. There we go. I'm gonna click the summarization feature up here. There is a token cost associated with the summarization feature.
I think Morten didn't get the memo.
I know, right? ClickLearn has absorbed all AI generation costs for editing, such as PowerPoint narration and summarization.
Yet, it's free now.
Totally is. There is no token cost.
You're right. Thank you, girls. When you then use Summarize, you can choose how you want to have your format. You can have single line, paragraph, bullet lists, or numbered lists. I'm just, for the purpose of our demonstration here, I'm going to go ahead and do a single line, because an introduction for me, like an introduction to the work instruction as such, that will be like a single line. And in the end of everything, I might use like a paragraph to have a longer summarization, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and use single line. I can choose how long it should be. Being a single line, personally, I think 100 words is more than enough. Otherwise, it's gonna be a very long line. And then of course you can choose the temperature down here. I quite enjoy the more creative approach, but you can of course just toy around and see what you get, right? All you do now is just click on Summarize. And you'll then have a little summary of what's gonna happen, right? So basically it's gonna just summarize the entire instruction into, well, just a small little paragraph here, or a line if you want. You can also choose to redo the settings here, like if you want it to be less creative and more precise, or if you wanted the format to be different, or if you would like a longer or shorter line of text here, right? So I'll just click on Save Changes. And now I'll have a little summary up here, which summarizes the entire instruction. It's super nice. And of course, I will probably edit this. Since this is my summary, I'll just type, let's call it objective. There we go. So that's basically what we're gonna go through. The cool thing about this is that when you open the recording, if you're unsure that this is a process you need to follow, you could just quickly read this and know if it's something you need to do or not, right? Instead of having to scroll through this super long instruction, if you're unsure if you have the right one, for example, or it can just give the user a nice idea about what's going to happen and what is to be expected throughout the recording that they're going through, or the work instruction that they're going to go through, right? All right. So using them in in the end, as kind of a conclusion, let's go ahead and do the add a new account. That's relatively short. So I could do the same. I could select all the steps or any of the steps that I want. For example, let's go ahead and do this this group here where I define the name, okay? And maybe the account type, just to have a little bit to work with. So let's select these and just do the summary on those. In these, I'm just choosing a name, defining it, and then I'm choosing the account type. That's what I'm doing here. Let's do the summarization just for these few steps. Let's go ahead and do a paragraph just to mix things up. I'll click on Summarize. And that's a lot of text for just these steps, but for the sake of demonstration, let's just go with it. So here we now have basically a summary of these steps combined, right? That's kind of how it works. I could have it before or I could have it after. I'm gonna move it down so I have it after. So allow me to just cut that. And we can paste it after down here. There we go. So this is now being summarized, these parts, right? Moving on to the chapters. For this purpose, I'm going to use our long instruction again. So I'll go into our hire new employee, which I know is super long. And you'll see in this one that there are a lot of chapters. So I'm going to just summarize the chapters only. Okay, let's go ahead and select them all. Summarize. This time, let's do the numbered list. And 100 words is okay. Let's go ahead and click on Summarize. So now it's gonna basically tell us very briefly in these 11 steps what we're doing, right? So I'll just save changes. And it'll then go above the first selected step, and I can just move this around any way I see fit, right? So now we have both an objective and we have a summary of the entire step or the entire process creation, right? Which is super nice. Of course, you can also take it a step further and use the summarization feature on the PowerPoint narration. So in this understand market segments, I have a PowerPoint narration, basically for everything, as you can see. Now this is a lot of text to read through, right? So if you like to just have a summary here, just be cool to have. I'll select it all, and actually I could skip the welcome and the outro, right? So let's just do the meat, the middle part here, summarization. And this time I'd like a bullet list. I'm still going to use 100 words. I think that's enough to describe these 4 parts. We'll see. And that's fine by me. And we'll have that up here. So now we have a welcome. Then we have kind of an overview of all the key points in the slides. Or a summary, if you will, and then we'll go through the slides, right? If you look at this in, for example, let's go with the assist role. It looks really cool. Let me show you. So, as an example, looking at the assist role, first we have a welcome screen. Welcome to the understanding market segments, blah, blah, blah. I click on next. Then there is a good summary of the process here, where you have all the key points in bullet form. And when you click on next, you'll see the AI narration kicks in, right?
Imagine you are standing in the center of a bustling marketplace, filled with a vibrant array of people, each with their unique preferences and needs.
In order to use the AI narration and the AI avatars, please check out this video up here. So, for best practice, there really are no rules. I can recommend, of course, use it the way I did, which is basically if you have like a really long instructions with a lot of chapters in them and a lot of steps, you can use them to summarize parts just to let the learner know what they learned in the end of each chapter, for example. Or you can have it prior to the chapter so they know what the chapter is going to go through, so they know whether or not this part is going to be relevant for them, so they know whether or not to skip it without having to skim and scroll a bunch of stuff. You can also use it in the beginning, like I did, for an objective, for example, to kind of have an introduction to the work instruction or the process. Or you could have it as a summary or a conclusion in the end, which is summarizing the whole process. You could also use it for the PowerPoint narration if you want to just quickly summarize parts of that. For example, if you have like a full PowerPoint narration like I showed, it could be nice just, with a brief summary in the end or in the beginning, just to show what you're going to go through in bullet points before, having the AI avatar explaining everything to you. But really, there are no rules. Just find a cool way to use it. It's an awesome tool. I'm sure you'll find some good ideas on how you can utilize it in your work instructions. Yeah. So with that being said, thank you very much for watching this Morten's Corner on the UXP AI summarization. And as always, have a wonderful day. Thank you.